Okay. Hello. My name is Shamini and I'm the owner of the Happy Film Company. We photograph families. I photograph kids in the Seattle area and beyond if you want to fly me somewhere fun. But generally I'm in Seattle and I just did a photo shoot at Discovery Park with a pregnant mama, her cute little boy, and it was a fashion shoot, so all the photos were focused on the kid's fashion, his clothing, taking photos that show off the clothing, but the goal is that they don't just stand there, this is my shirt, take the photo. It's how do we take photos that still have personality and show the clothing in action, make it feel like it's really being used and it's a part of life. And that's what some fashion designers want, that because they want to be able to show, look, the clothes that I make are actually wearable and your kids can actually have fun wearing them and look cute at the same time. So that's why I liked taking photos of this little boy playing, like he was going into the woods, into the bushes, and then when he went into the bush, I would get a photo of his clothing as he's walking into the bush. And then I would also get a photo of his face going in the bush. So one photo is taken for the fashion designer, one photo is taken for the mom. That's multitasking as a photographer is one of the best things you can do for your business. It's something I think I learned when I was doing wedding photography, because you take photos mainly for your first client, which is the couple getting married. They want portraits. They want pictures of all the details and like, yay, my family and the whole wedding. The secondary client are all of your vendors, the people who made the dress, made the cake, did the flower bouquet, the people who own the venue. You make sure you take photos that are specifically awesome for those people that they can use in their marketing. And then you build relationships with them. And then they can bring you new clients. And same thing goes when you're doing family photography. The main client is the family. Make sure everyone's face is visible. It's them all together having a good time. The secondary client is the clothes that they're wearing, the designers who made those, or the location where you're taking the photo. Or if they are doing an activity, like let's say they're getting ice cream. It's like showing off that ice cream so that it can be used by a company that wants to promote ice cream cones. So multitasking as a photographer is pretty simple because you just have to be very aware. And every time you take a photo, you take a second photo that's of the same moment focused in on something different. And so like zooming with your hands and your feet, getting closer, getting further away, or slightly recomposing the photo so that it's focusing on a different area is all it takes. Like if mom and dad are kissing, you can be right on their face, and then you can turn the camera down to focus on their clothes and all you see is their lips kissing. If the little kid is running into the bushes, you zoom back and you see him running into the bushes, and then you zoom in and you just see his little rain boots into the bushes, or his little mittens on his hands into the bushes. And both the parents and the designer clients might want all of the photos, because the mom might want the photos of the mittens because they're so cute and it's such a happy memory, and maybe she puts them side by side. This is my son and these are his cute mittens. Same with the fashion designer. They say, hey, these are my mittens and this is a cute boy wearing them. So diptychs, 2 photos side by side, or triptychs, 3 photos side by side, tell a story where you show what you want someone to focus on, and then you show details that help them go deeper into it and focus in on those details more closely when they look at the bigger, broader picture. It's like when you see a group photo and your attention instantly goes to your face. If you look at a family portrait, but you're a mitten designer, your eyes are going to go straight to the person wearing the cutest mittens, or the mittens that you designed. And if you're a fashion designer, a mitten designer, and you want people to look at your mittens, you would create a diptych or a triptych, where 2 of those photos, 1 of those photos is focused directly on the mittens. so that when you see the photo that's further zoomed out, your attention will be drawn to that detail, to those mittens. Now, even though I was doing a fashion shoot, I still kept the focus very much on letting the little boy lead the way. Kids always lead the way at the photo shoots because it's going to be more fun, it's going to be more natural, they're going to stay happy, and the photos that we take are going to be better than whatever we could have planned. So as adults, even the most creative adults, we get really stuck in our ideas. And the kids are incredible at just going off the beaten trail. You know, like if I came to this beautiful park, I was gonna have him like go off in the bushes and walk through the grass. He didn't want to do that. And so part of me is like, oh shit, like my idea isn't gonna work at all. But instead what he wanted to do was run up and down the path with his mom. And at first I was like, is this what we're gonna do? It doesn't really work. But it challenged me to use the pathway as a frame so that the boy and his mom are in the middle of the pathway, and the pathway like rises up on each side of them, to use the pathway as a line that goes through the photo. It's just a new challenge, and that's something that I wasn't planning on. So in the same way, if I was like, I'm going to use that pathway, and I went into it on purpose, I'm going to use this pathway, I probably would have showed up all excited about the pathway, and then he would have been like, let's play in the grass. So you just have to go with the flow when it's a kid. If you're working with models, there's just so much more planning. Like adult models, there's more planning, there's more styling, it's more stiff. And it's really a miracle when you get an adult model who's very adventurous and like, hey, let's go in the grass, let's try this. And those situations are really inspiring, but they're acting more kid-like, in which case just let them lead the way. Also, I made some Pinterest boards before doing this shoot, which was fun for me to brainstorm, get an idea of what kind of fashion photos are out there already, and get a feel for what I was really attracted to, what I really liked, and what I was inspired to try and create myself, like to push myself in a new style. But by no means was I trying to replicate. And that's a really big important thing about it. As a photographer, when you're looking at inspiration photos, their job is to get you inspired, to get your ass out there taking your own photos. And when you're out there taking your own photos, the worst thing you can do is try and remember a photo that you saw, try and remember a pose and try and recreate it. That's gonna be so distracting for you because it's taking you out of the moment that you're in. It's taking you away from the connection with the person, and you're off in your own head being like, oh, what was that important pose? That pose is not important. The poses that are greatest, that you're gonna love capturing, and the photos that are gonna be so powerful are the moments when you're with the person. I go like this because it's the connection. You're showing up, they're showing up, and you captured the moment. They looked at you and you caught the expression in their face. That's something that you can't plan. If you're thinking of poses and trying to remember photos, they're gonna be just standing there waiting for you to connect with them. And then when you finally remember a pose, you're still not there with them. You're off in la la land, and the photo ends up being flat. It's like this versus this. So look at all those photos, soak them in. They are your inspiration. They're getting you excited. They're teaching your subconscious brain about photography, what works, what looks beautiful, what you're attracted to. But when you're actually out there on the day of your shoot, forget it all. Forget it all and be there present with the person and see what looks beautiful right in front of your eyes. And your brain will start to notice over time, the more you do this, the more you study, the more you look at the photos that you took, and you're like, wow, they didn't look at all like the photos I was inspired by. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You learn just by looking and studying. Trying it, study it. Try it, study it. Try it, study it. That's how you're going to develop your own style. Developing your own photography style. Whoa! It's so stressful in the beginning because you really want to have your own style. And it feels like every shoot that you edit is a totally different style. What a pain. What a pain. But you have to go through it. And it's not something that you figure out. It is certainly something that figures itself out, and you get to watch it unfold. So do a shoot, edit it, do the next shoot, edit it. It's gonna be a little different. Give it a couple weeks. You'll look at the photos and be like, wow, I hated how I edited those. I'm not doing that again. You just got a little bit closer to your style. You'll do a shoot and you'll be like, wow, why do I love this so much? I don't know why, but I do. And then you'll figure out why. Ooh, it was a certain time of day. Ooh, I used a certain preset on my editing. Oh, I worked with a certain kind of client. Like, it narrowing it down. What did I like? What did I not like? What did I like? What did I not like? Give it a couple years of that process. Boom, you have a style. Yeah. But none of the photographers that you saw, did we develop a style by sitting down and deciding it. And then from day one, that was it. Like you spent a lot of time deciding. You're like, okay, I am going to do all hyper saturated bright colors. And we do it, you try it, and you make that your style for a month. And then suddenly you're like, whoa, that is so not my style, I'm over it. This month I'm doing very low saturation, kind of muted matte pastel colors. You do that for a month and you're like, oh fuck, that also isn't my style. Month 3, maybe we blend it a little bit more saturated, but kind of matte. Ooh, I kind of like that, And you're finding a balance. Does that make sense? Whoo, hyperspeed lesson over here. So that's kind of what I was experiencing as I planned this photo shoot. And the beautiful thing is all of this is behind the scenes, because on the actual day of, I just got to go to the park. I drove in my car and I was happy because it was sunny. I showed up and I saw this family who I care about. It was their due date, so it was a special moment to be there with them. My fingers got cold on the camera. I just felt gratitude that this family came out in the park and was up for playing and dressing up, and just reminded, it was very grounding. Family photos are very grounding because it takes you to that point of, this is just a family. This is a kid and this is this person's childhood. And we're just going to be in the park this morning. All other adult things, businesses, responsibilities, things that were stressful, they fade away for an hour. For me, for the parents, for the kids, none of it exists. We're just in the park. And, sometimes when you go to the park, you still have stress on your mind. You're still thinking about things. But at least I find when I go to the park on a photo shoot, the photo shoot is the purpose. It encompasses my attention. It's a focus. It's a project. So it really is a break. It's a little bubble. It feels like a step outside of reality for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. We're just playing. And I come out the other end kind of feeling refreshed. So that's why I keep doing it. It's like a zone. It's a zone. And I get in that zone when I make music, when I paint, but those are isolated in my garage or my studio alone. And the nice thing about photography is that you get to go outside and you get to be with other people and be in that creative zone. And every photo shoot with a family is building a relationship. It's like a new touch point. I'm going to see you. I'll see you again in 6 months. I'll see you again in a year. And we'll do that every year. And then suddenly these people are part of your life. I don't see them at holidays. I don't go to their birthday parties. Not all of them. I go to some. They're not necessarily my friends, but they're the friendly faces in my life. They're people that I see regularly. We're a part of each other's life in the roles that we fill. And that's nice. Humans like having consistency. It's a community. It's like your family butcher, your favorite librarian, the school teacher down the road that you grew up with. The small town feeling is what we feel most like we belong in, especially in a big city. So family photography, I'm finding, is becoming a way that I feel community. I get to go to all these different neighborhoods, meet all these different families, and have some consistency in the community, in the bases in my life. Yeah. Which is another benefit of having a family photographer, is that instead of having all these different people take your photo shoots, it's the same person every year. Kids get familiar and comfortable. I get familiar and comfortable with you. We start to have our jokes and our memories together. There's some families, I've got memories that go back 6-7 years now. I look at them and I'm like, whoa, I was there when all these moments were happening. So, okay. And now, my name is Shamini. The Happy Film Company. We photograph kids, families in Seattle, and you can sign up for a photo shoot on the website. You can leave me a comment, ask me questions on the website, on the blog, or you can subscribe on the YouTube channel. I post videos about family photography and photography in general and photography equipment, even if you need to know about it, because everyone wants to know about photography equipment.